Why history said women can't be geniuses. Most people don't understand intelligence. They recognize complexity. They respect difficult language. They assume confusion means depth. That assumption is wrong. If an idea cannot be explained simply, it is not understood. It is memorized. Modern intelligence is built on memorization. People repeat ideas. Quote, philosophers use technical language, but they cannot explain what they are saying. This creates the illusion of intelligence, not intelligence itself. Real understanding is different. It reduces complexity into simple structure. It connects ideas clearly. It removes unnecessary language. That is why true intelligence sounds simple. Richard Feynman explained advanced physics using basic concepts. He did not simplify the subject. He understood it completely. Understanding removes the need to perform intelligence. Now apply this to philosophy. For centuries, philosophers made a consistent claim. Women were not suited for higher-level philosophical thinking. They could be educated, but not reach the same depth. This claim is usually dismissed as sexism, but dismissal avoids analysis. So analyze it. In modern education systems, women outperform men. Higher enrollment, higher completion rates, more consistent academic performance. This is measurable. At the same time, men dominate both extremes, the highest performers and the lowest performers. This pattern is called variability. Higher variability produces more outliers. Outliers create both exceptional success and significant failure. This is also measurable. These two facts exist at the same time. Consistent performance favors women. Extreme outcomes show more men. Neither fact cancels the other. Now consider historical context. Most philosophical conclusions were formed when women had limited access to education. Limited access distorts outcomes. Distorted outcomes produce incomplete conclusions. So historical claims must be evaluated carefully, not accepted, not dismissed, analyzed. Now, examine a different problem. Why does modern intellectual content feel shallow? Because it prioritizes presentation over understanding. People signal intelligence instead of demonstrating it. They use complex language instead of clear explanation. They rely on recognition instead of comprehension. This creates a feedback loop. Complex language gets rewarded, clear thinking gets ignored. So people optimize for appearance, not accuracy. Now consider a core philosophical conflict: altruism versus self-interest. Most people are taught to prioritize others. Help first, sacrifice first, give first. But this creates a structural problem. If you lack resources, you cannot provide value. If you lack stability, you cannot support others. Sustainable contribution requires self-prioritization. This is not emotional, it is functional. A person without resources cannot create impact. Now, examine behavior under pressure. When people are forced to act morally, their motivation changes. They act to avoid judgment, not to create value. This produces a psychological effect: moral licensing. After performing a good action, people feel justified to act against their own standards. The action becomes compensation, not intention. This weakens the original moral outcome. So intent matters. Voluntary action creates consistency. Forced action creates imbalance. Now connect this to social behavior. Most people define themselves as good. They follow expected behavior to maintain that identity, but they do not evaluate the reasoning behind it. This creates dependence on social approval, not independent thinking. Independent thinking requires analysis. It requires questioning accepted ideas. It requires separating emotional reaction from logical evaluation. Most people avoid this process because it removes certainty. It replaces identity with uncertainty, and uncertainty is uncomfortable. So people default to repetition. They repeat accepted ideas without testing them. They defend positions without understanding them. They react instead of analyzing. This applies across all groups, not one gender, not one ideology. It is a general pattern. Now, return to the original claim. We're philosophers, correct? The answer depends on methodology. If conclusions are based on incomplete data, they are unreliable. If conclusions are tested against current data, they can be refined. So the correct approach is not agreement or rejection. It is evaluation. evaluate evidence, evaluate context, evaluate reasoning. This requires one ability: clear thinking. Clear thinking does not depend on education level. It depends on understanding. It requires breaking ideas into fundamentals. It requires explaining concepts without relying on complexity. It requires rejecting ideas that cannot be justified. Most people do not develop this ability because it requires effort and continuous correction. It requires admitting error. It requires abandoning identity-based thinking. So the final distinction is not intelligence level. It is thinking ability, the ability to analyze, to simplify, to verify. Without that, people rely on memorization. And memorization creates confidence, but not understanding. So when you hear a complex idea, test it. Remove the language. Reduce it to its structure. If it still makes sense, it is valid. If it collapses, it was never understood. That distinction defines real intelligence, and very few people operate at that level.